be surprised to see a Visor pick between these two. Like, just from one of them.
Visor
Visor is
has had that
really,
buff
really
as
good
well.
now.
Yeah, and then you can
Visor was buffed in a major way.
no longer hear the piercing sight being activated, which is somewhat controversial, I guess. But unless we see it played, we're not going to know if it's a positive thing, good thing, bad thing. I mean, we're in early access now; it's the time to try things.
Yeah, I think it's a really good change, actually. I think it was needed for Visor, because, like, you hear the ability go off, and you just stand still behind a wall, you know?
True.
Like, it was just so counterable by not doing anything. Ah, the Nyx, of course. No, I should have known. The Nyx, of course, on Blood Run, just such a powerful character. You can do a lot with the double jumping around.
You know what? Talking of double jumping, I'm surprised not to maybe see a Doomslayer as well on this map. There's some double jumps you can do at lower green, for example, to give you extra damage. That'll put rocket launcher spawn.
And not only that, but the ability to, like, run away. But we are going live.
Yeah, it will be a Nyx vs Anarchy start, actually. So Nyx coming out first for Law. Danny opting for the Anarchy.
Yeah, let's watch Lua here as he gets the Mega Health. He's going to have to be careful if he wants the Lightning Gun, and Danny doing a great job with this pressure. Wow, and actually a very, very early Ghost Walk here catches Danny completely off guard.
Yeah, he was lucky that during the injection, Anarchy isn't able to fire because Dan has 64 points of health. But that's going to be first frag anyway. A little bit of stuttering, but going to fix itself prematurely, or quickly rather.
Yeah, nothing really changes there. Again, we've got that situation where spawning on a Solag is so powerful that it gets Danny that item. And actually is going to win Danny complete control of the map. I think Lua's just realizing this. So yeah, really fantastic play off the spawn for Danny, just knowing what he can take, how to use this stack to maximum potential.
And this is going to be tough now because the Solag needs to force out the Acid Spit. Oh, sorry, force out the Ghost Walk, preferably before the Acid Spit. Or use the Acid Spit to force it out and then guess correctly. Nyx's game plan right now is to just stay away until he hits enough railguns at distance that he finds a way to initiate. I mean, this Ghost Walk, he's going to... If he sticks around, this is going to be... I mean, he has no option, really, to be honest. Fortunately, the rockets are amazing. And,
yeah, that did so much. If those rockets hadn't hit that much, Lua would be dead now, you know, because Danny would have just been able to chase. There was nothing that Lua would have been able to do.
For the time being... Oh. This is nice. Oh, he's going to stick it. He shouldn't. Yeah, once he should have just walked backwards and fired the rocket. There was no other escape. It's not like Solag has a dire orb to teleport aggressively or a phase shift to go invisible and close the gap. I mean, he would have known exactly where Solag was, and that would have given him so many options to just, you know.
Yeah, that's like the one place you shouldn't stand and fight against a Solag like that, because there's just nowhere for the Nyx to move. So suddenly you're on even ground, and that stack difference is going to come into full play.
Yeah, particularly if there's no health points or anything to sort of sit around, and you know the health bubbles now give you 25 HP, and they don't just fill a container. So now more than ever, they're extremely useful. Solag on Solag. Oh, and that's what I mean about the Acid Spit. It's so tough to hit. Doesn't matter though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're going to hit all of your OG instead. Some very strong tracing there. But yeah, the changes to the Acid Spit definitely, I made a video talking about this. It pushes it towards a weapon where, like, it rewards the players who hit it better now, rather than just having the dot. Which is the kind of change I want to see, you know, a change towards it being a high skill, high reward weapon. Or ability, rather.
For sure. 100%.
Alright, this is going to be a dangerous fight for Lua right now. I think he can take that and just walk away pretty happy though. Like, he can stack up here. The Nyx cannot.
I think that's the thing with rockets this patch as well. They feel a lot more consistent into where they're going to hit. So the Solag just not wanting to risk pushing into it regardless of HP. Acid Spit is ballsy at that. And this should be a frag. He might even get the perforation.
That was so bold from Lua right there. I mean, not well advised at all. Wow, just flying into that lightning gun, you can't do it. You know, like, this extra stack of the Solag can win you a lot, but it can't negate just solid decision making like that, you know, where you can't jump into a lightning gun.
I suppose if you're confident in your aim, right, anything is possible in your eyes sometimes. But here comes the push down toward the Mega Health. He's a little bit early, though. He has got his invis. He wants to ideally hold on to that, though, and there should be enough 25s to keep him safe for now, along with the green, but I've just got...
You can see Danny trying to be aggressive here, and like the faster he can oh no.
Oh
The faster he can oh, my heart missed a beat there. The faster he can do with his Galena, the better. He should be fairly confident that those are the only 2 totems up so far, so he can probably expect a 3rd pretty soon. But like, he doesn't have to be too scared of a totem right now. But ideally he's going to do with his Galena sooner rather than later, because the longer this game goes on, the more at risk he is of just, you know, stupidly walking into a totem.
Well, that's it. I mean, even dropping off the tri-bolt platform without looking behind you and backing away whilst railgunning someone, he was scary. Because you never know if there's totems on the railgun, if there's totems on the teleport doorway. There's just... But I suppose the good thing we're also seeing from Danny right now is that he is traversing the map somewhat, so there's only ever really potential to be 1 totem up at any time. And he does have his Ghost Walk.
Yes. As long as he makes sure he's getting rid of these. I think... Ooh. Wow. Nerves are still there from Danny. I think he knows that, yeah, he doesn't want to let this drag on too far. That Galena is going to win that fight in the long run, so he's prepared to take some risks to avoid that. I haven't been super thrilled with Lua's totem placement, right? He's used them in very specific ways, where like he's looking for a certain kind of catch, used it in the stairwell. There, that was a good totem. And this is surely around now going over to Lua.
He was so
There
careful,
it
Danny,
is.
and then all of a sudden just throws himself through the TP.
Prepare to fight.
But hey, first run on the board.
Round
Yeah,
begins.
Danny was doing such a good job, and then... and it happens, right? This is why you don't want rounds against a Galena to just drag on forever. And probably why Galenas can be such a good last champion pick, where your opponent's going to have to be kind of cautious, where they can't take huge gambles to fight you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he could even opted to use his Ghost Walk through the TP as well, potentially expecting a totem. But Solag vs Anarchy start this time.
Yeah, the Solag seemed to work really well for Lua before. As long as he's careful about how he uses this Acid Spit, and, well, that was a good use of the Acid Spit. Great kind of trap to set up there. That's something that doesn't seem very traditionally Quakey in a sense, where, like, you hope to headbutt the person you're laying the trap for, but as Solag, it works just incredibly well.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat like hitting that initial rocket, right? If you hit the initial rocket in Quake Live or Quake 4, sometimes it allows you to follow up. In this, it's the Acid Spit. And the difference is, if it's close range and you hit enough of it, it's likely going to result in the frag, whereas beforehand, there was the chance that you might be able to escape. It just makes you think a little bit more about where you're moving to, I suppose, as the Anarchy.
Well, if you hit 100% of the Acid Spit onto an Anarchy, it will just kill them no matter what. Yeah. But I don't think I've ever seen that.
It did happen yesterday, actually. Haran, I can't remember who he was playing against, but it was actually...
Oh, hold on. This is a really weird fight. We have a bit of aerial dogfighting happening between these two. Just really one of those situations where the players both just decide to push it down to their aim and like duke it out and see who's going to come on top. And it is Danny there who just hits the better rockets in the long run.
Out comes the Galena. This time going to be a second champion choice. But let's see where opts to go for the totems. Hold on to it. I mean, that's the other thing you can do with the totems. You can hold on to it until you're in the fight, potentially. And if you're a Galena and you can stack up on a heavy armor, that can be really good as well.
Yeah, you can really try and pull that ability out, kind of like a Quake 2 hand grenade, you know. Ooh.
But you got somewhat of a separation.
Catch out from Danny.
No.
Walking straight into the rocket. The totem, as Lua goes out though, is going to slow that Anarchy down just so much. Danny needs to be careful just diving in here. You know, Lua isn't going to have the guns, but that's not a good position for Danny. He doesn't know when the Mega is, and that's going to cost him everything.
I think a good thing for Lord to do right now would be to try and deny that railgun as long as possible. Oh no! He would have had the pin as well.
That was really strong LG. It was looking great, but yeah, just Danny says no.
Yeah.
Completely
Basically.
shutting that down.
Round begins in
Say goodbye.
2, 1. Round 3.
And so round 3 we go. This time a Nyx instead of the Sorlag for Lore. Anarchy coming out for foe. Again. Oh, nice railgun.
I don't know if it's worth it to burn the Ghostwalk off like that. I'm not sure if that was a planned thing where he wanted to do a drive-by, but yeah, I don't think the railgun is worth not having a Ghostwalk up, because right now is an opportunity for the Anarchy to get the frag, and the Anarchy didn't have to use their ability in that situation.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to go for the rocket. Wasn't expecting the Anarchy to be there. Hit the railgun. There's obviously the reload time came into play, and if he tried to escape, switching from rocket to LG is so much quicker that I would think it was just the safer bet in his eyes just to get away. And obviously you can see here he's picked up a couple of hourglasses. He can stay slow, wait for it to regen, and now he's in a position that he can move out. So safety first, I think, in round 3 was on the cards.
Yeah, definitely needs to be careful moving out. You don't want to waste off too much time in there, just collecting those hourglasses, you know, making sure your ability's up. Very, very close situation. You know, the guys, their hands briefly touch as they pass over on the way to the teleporter, but
Something out of Interstellar.
nothing's going to come of it. And yeah, Lua just slowing this down to a crawl. He's caught out, he ghost walks, he runs away. Again, the ghost walk not actually achieving anything. Danny not using his ability at all so far in the first 1 minute 30. And yeah, it's okay that Danny takes that damage because he has his ejection up, and there are 225 HP bubbles on the side of the map. Oh well, it doesn't even need them, it just goes straight to the Mega. You can see, even with all that stack, how much difference one railgun makes when you've got these two light characters duking it out.
The rocket to railgun. He's so fortunate. One more step to the right. I mean, he was intentional in his positioning, but telefragged or a quick flick to the left with a rocket at the TP, and Law would be on 2 free HP right now. That would be an immediate refrag off the spawn, so nicely converted.
It still could be here.
He really likes this
Again, the
railgun to
drive-by
Ghost
rail
Walk.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, in this situation, I don't think it achieves that much, except Danny wants to push into the OG through the tunnel. You can't do that as Solag. Like, Solag even more so than other characters, you know, just cannot dodge at all in a tunnel like that.
I mean, in some ways, it is baiting out the Sorlag to use his Acid Spit, right? Because without the Ghost Walk up, there's no potential to avoid the dot if he does connect. And that, if he's waiting for the push every time, the ability to, you know, hit the rocket as the Sorlag comes through, or the railgun, or the LG is just so much more prominent. So, but Nyx on Nyx now. We could be in for a very long 2 minutes. But here comes the aggressive push. He's not too healthy, Law, but a fine one.
That was good. Lua's been using some fairly ineffective ghost walks in my opinion, so I was glad to see him there finally pull one out in a really aggressive way that actually could have potentially, you know, shaken up the round. In this case, it doesn't really have a follow-through. Danny's still going to be in control of everything, but Lua, it looks like he might be coming in for the pressure on the red armor, or at least to potentially hear it. The information would be good. But this is definitely Danny on the hunt, and wow, a very aggressive rocket jump here. Oh, we have the 2 ghost walks popped at once. This does not bode well for Danny.
Yeah, of course, for those that aren't aware, you can see your opposing Nyx during the Ghost Walk if you both do it. It counteracts it.
I love that Danny just staked everything at that Mega health. He said, you know, if he loses that Mega, that's probably going to be it for, you know, this round. So just taking a huge gamble, and it pays off so well.
Well, he has to. Time is running out, but Rocket's not quite good enough. And that'll be 2-1 on our first map. We got potential map point now for Law.
Yeah, I said this was going to be a win for Danny, but I'm being proven wrong here. You can see how much knowledge Lua has of these angles and stuff, how to set up these traps, you know. You can definitely see his hard work and experience here.
Well, it will be a heavy armor to start for the Anarchy of Danny, aka Foe. That's a better rocket.
Yeah, that's the kind of start Danny's been hoping for.
He just needs to make sure. I mean, the slight problem here is that the Mega and the Heavy are at the same time. There is the potential for Nyx to get on one of them, but considering she hasn't got her ability up, she likely won't challenge. And this should be a comfortable 2. Although, she might appear at the lightning gun in a moment. Or is she just going for the audio cue? I think just the audio cue. Yeah, you can see her just below. Oh, I'm gonna disable X-ray for a moment and just watch the Anarchy try and chase down this Nyx and just see how infuriating it might be for him. But
yeah, well, the Ghost walks up, right? So he just, yeah, that's going to be a sound cue that gives him a lot of information. But yeah, Lua, this is my experience playing him in Quake Live as well. He's a man who's not afraid to just kind of chill out and not really do much. You know, patient, right? He can run down the clock. He's not necessarily under any pressure to make things happen, and he'll just wait for you to start making mistakes, you know.
I mean, that's it. It's like you said, it's going back to the angles just then again with the route pin. That patience, able to utilize them, is just so strong right now, particularly. I mean, Danny's got to be slightly frustrated as well, for sure. His aggressive plays aren't working off yet.
There goes the Ghost Walk.
This is part of the puzzle complete anyway. Let's see if we can follow it up. This should be a frag for sure.
Yeah. Now that was very interesting because I don't know if you noticed that so much on your screen, but for me, that Nyx completely disappeared into that wall just with the way the colors were. And it looks like the Sorlag is using a very similarly colored skin, so I don't know if that's a setup, if that's like a spot where you can kind of hide with a certain skin. But that would be the kind of move you would expect someone who's played as much as Lua to know.
That's a good point. There would be a red outline, but whether it's super obvious, who knows? Yeah, heavy armor's coming up for Danny. I mean, he's the Anarchy against the Galena. In theory, he could run the clock, but he does run the risk of a trap eventually with totems and potentially a stacked Galena. One well-placed rocket in an unfortunate situation bouncing you into a corner could result in a frag, and then do you bring out Nyx or do you bring out Sorlag? If you bring out Nyx, you get the Ghost Walk escape potential. If you bring out Sorlag and miss the Acid Spit and Galena's stacked again, gets a clean frag, then I don't know. This is going to be...
I mean, if I was Danny right now, I'd really just be trying to focus on counting how many totems could be on the map at once. That's going to be your biggest, like, in here. If you can keep on top of this Galena and stop them building up totems, then you're probably going to be in a situation to win the round. Unless that happens.
Yeah, the bounce. He went directly up. There was no momentum to carry through. Stuck. Rock in a hard place. And it is the Sorlag coming out second. I suppose there's still 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, so... Oh.
Yeah, and again, we are in that situation where the Sorlag just spawns with so much stack.
Foe just lagging a little bit. Yeah, he's okay now. Fortunately, he still was able to get the Mega health though.
He's still going to win this fight.
You know what? I think... Oh no! You know what though? That was almost accidentally brilliant for him. I think by being stuck there, just probably threw off Danny completely.
3, 2, 1.
2-2 anyway. Or sorry.
Well, there was also that attempt at the like close range totem connection. That would have been exciting.
Yeah. Well, third and final, or fifth and final round, I should say. Potential third point for either player now. Sorlag versus Anarchy this time.
I think the Sorlag pick definitely suits Lua up first. I think he wants to get some damage down, potentially get this early frag, and then he can think about slowing down and, like, you know, waiting this out. Great connections there from Danny.
A little bit better though, and he could have maybe taken the frag his way. only sort of 50-60 damage rockets.
Well, again, yeah, the problem when you're up against a Solag like this is, even if you do all that damage, like, all Solag needs is 2 small armors, and he is, you know, as stacked as he needs to be to fight an Anarchy.
Yeah. Close. I do think a lot of the sort of stack positions for Solag now have been very much thought through. So look, I mean, foe is going to be very much aware of exactly where Solag's going to try and set up the traps, and there's certainly positions he can place himself in to avoid the chase. But the question is, when does he, if he does just continue to avoid the Solag and doesn't look for those openings, then Solag eventually is going to stack up to, you know, close 200, as we used to call it in Quake Live. So. And it's almost like that's how Solag wants to play right now, try and stack up.
But no, those 2 rockets are going to slow this Solag right back down. Slight delay there of the Mega, just trying to offset it, keep his opponent confused. Lua, again, going for this close range Acid Spit, but just not connecting with the damage.
He's fortunate he went through the teleport there, he needed the health fight.
Yeah, no, I like the way he sat in that acid pool, or in the health pool rather, before he went through that teleporter. Because, like, if he'd have just gone through, Lua would have been able to see when he went through. But because he waited right there, Lua knew he was going to come through, but he couldn't tell when.
Exactly. But pretty big separation on the 2 items now, and this could work against or for either of these players. In theory, one player should be able to get both of them, but or one of each, but there's a potential for Solag to get both on this one. He's definitely stacked enough.
Yeah, the problem is when you start moving between these 2 items very, very quickly. Well, that was great damage from Danny, just first off. Again, not getting hit by these acid spits, and just, like, hitting all of his LG. But yeah, we've already seen Lua set up some of these traps where, like, you know, he went for the drop-down acid spit because he knew exactly where Danny was going to go, moving between the 2 items so quickly. Sometimes having 2 items to control just makes you that much more predictable.
62. That angle is incredibly infuriating. Oh, the 100 damage!
Yeah, I think this is likely going to be the round for Danny now. Oh, he should get the catch here. He needs to be cautious of his mix rockets.
Rightly so.
Yeah, Lua doing exactly the right thing there.
Foe 2, in fairness. Waited for the rockets and his opportunity to move across. I mean, we almost saw the potential LG pin earlier, so he's definitely aware of the damage that can be dealt from below.
Yeah, we haven't seen Lua be quite that ballsy again down there, but yeah, the potential is there. Oh, this is a big trap.
Oh, the rocket was whiffed, so was the railgun. He knows it, but time is running out. The 25 is not going to be enough, and now it's do or die after spawning. This needs to be an extremely aggressive Galena. It's not going to happen, though.
It's not going to be enough. That was a good try from Danny, from Lua rather, but yeah, Danny just played that last round so well.
And that'll be map 1 to foe.
But yeah, no, I love how Danny just didn't let himself get bullied too much by that Solag. You know, like, Lua was going for these really big setup traps, and Danny was playing a much more traditional game of Quake, where he's controlling these items, he's getting the damage, he's, like, picking these fights, you know? Like, Danny was in the driving seat for a lot of the more important fights, I think, whereas Lua was going for these setups, he was trying to drop down and catch his opponent out and make a trap right there. Whereas Danny was kind of... I guess that's not necessarily the clearest way to say it, but you know what I mean? Like, picking the fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we're going into Corrupt to Keep now. Danny's immediately removing the potential of that railgun. And you mentioned time and time again, Jordan, that Game Law's ability to just slow the game down, play patiently, play with the railgun and those angles. That's not necessarily going to be possible on this map. Although, obviously, the chance of setting up traps with rocket launchers and things, and maybe the Galena coming out again could be useful for him, but he's certainly not going to be as safe to sit back and rail at times.
I think we're going to see a different side of Lua come out on this map.
Oh?
I think he's just going to approach it totally differently. Yeah, I think he's just going to go for lots of fights and try and get these setups and traps and stuff. Like,
I mean, we did see, again, just going back to the attempt at the LG pin, it would have been successful. So he definitely has in him the potential to take those LG fights. And if he can set up a trap to convert into a frag for sure. My worry in some ways is that, especially toward the end then, that final minute, he definitely looked a little bit shaky on the comeback. And obviously being a map down, obviously these guys aren't playing for $1 million today, but they are playing for flights and prize money at PAX. So, you know, there's somewhat prize on the line today, and definitely more so than the usual cups they've been used to playing online. So
yeah, and there's pride.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, can he
like,
keep his composure? That's my question.
Yeah, and like having a big win, like beating Danny would be a big win for Lua. That would be a big payoff for all the work he's put in. So yeah, I think there's definitely going to be the motivation here for Lua, and a very different hero lineup already. You can see. This is definitely the advantage of having just so many hours in duel, right? You have this versatility in your hero pool, and it's the scale bearer.
So this is interesting to me, because as good as the scale bearer is, I can't help but feel there's only a select few chances you're able to use it. For me, it's just closing the gap between like the mega and the heavy at the beginning of the game. Maybe it's the champion we'll see first. I don't know, but
I think it would be unlikely to see it picked first over Anarchy when Danny is just such an avid Anarchy picker first. Yeah, I don't necessarily know what the pick would be for Strictly. I have played against some really annoying scale bearers here. I think you can do a lot on the bottom level of the map. It'll be interesting to see how he pulls it out anyway, if he has certain plays in mind.
yeah,
Because again, bear in mind, scale bearer was buffed.
true. You get the extra armor. Is it off the spawn? Plus 25,
Yeah,
am I
he has
thinking
that
correctly?
Prepare to fight.
I suppose it does offer you the potential to close the upper ground as well into the shotgun room for sure. Or maybe at the teleports as well is a scary factor. But regardless, here we go live. It is going to be Law vs Foe on map number 2. Anarchy versus Anarchy start, you called it. Again with the scale bearer and the ranger for Law. Always a fan of ranger on this map. There's so many hilarious things you can do with mid-air dire orbs and the Sorlag and the Nyx for Foe. But
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the mid-air dire orb. It's one of my favourite moves in this game.
yeah, it's always spectacular, but hey, that's an incredibly quick frag.
Yeah, you can see, like, Lua, normally if someone's good at Anarchy, they're going to pick it every single game, but Lua showing us he's very proficient with this champion already, but just choosing not to pick it on the blood run. This Sorlag needs to be so careful pushing into the LG. I don't like the placement of that acid spit so much. I think that could have been a little bit more focused towards the doorway. Then Lua would have been in a little bit of a worse situation. He still has... Oh, wow. Yeah, both players gambling everything there, and both players somehow walk away, albeit very, very weak. Lua has to just run here. He's dead.
Yeah, he's definitely
That's
going
it.
down. I think
he missed those HP bubbles.
I think in fairness to the acid spit though, like obviously with the increased time before you can fire after activating the ability, I think you're gifted less opportunity in terms of directing it. You just need to take what you're given sometimes. But that's going to be another quick frag as well off the spawn.
Yeah, and that's...
the ranger.
I mean, I guess that doesn't really answer our questions about the scale bearer pick at all.
No. But hey, early moments.
Yeah, he doesn't even get a chance to do anything with it. He's just pressured off the spawn before he can get guns.
Already using the dire orb. Almost used it to allow himself to collect the light armor. No way! What? How was that even still up?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Where did it...
Oh, wow, that was weird. And I haven't seen that one before.
Round 2. Fight.
That is hilarious.
So, I'm not sure what happened there. That might have been a setup from Lua where he sticks the dire orb somewhere as like a map bug, and then tries to teleport to it later. That's the only way that makes sense. And it threw him somewhere else instead.
Yeah, I think he tried to either send it toward heavy or toward the wall, but...
Well, but when did he use it, right?
I thought it should have evaporated at that point. Like it exploded,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, no, but there are some points on the map where you can like stick them and they never evaporate.
Oh,
Some like bugged out spot. So I'm guessing he went for a bug setup there.
that's hilarious.
There were some really tricky ones you could do on Sarnath where you could like they've been patched now, but you could stick it up kind of in the near the nail gun, and it would stay there forever. And so you could throw it up there, and a minute later be down at the red armor and just teleport up top.
Oh my god, I
Just
did not
for
know.
No reason at all.
I know what I'm doing
Yeah.
tonight.
There are some great videos of people doing it, but they do get patched out
Oh!
very quickly. Wow.
What?
We're just having a chat there, and I mean, yeah, that is the power of the Scale Bearer, I guess. I take back any of the doubts I had that it was a good pick, that it was a bad pick.
I mean, for watching him, he sounded like a tank, but clearly for for foe, it must have been tiptoeing as he was charging through. He closed a lot of ground. I was like right at the end of the charge as well. Man, what a crazy game so far. But Scale Bearer still got his charge back up against the Sorlag now with Danny. Let's swap around. Oh, again. Good rocket slow.
That was
Wow.
very, very bold there from Lure. Like, the charge can do a lot to these lighter characters, but against a Sorlag, I just don't think it has the raw, like, percentage of his health that's going to be gone that you're going to benefit from getting that close. And I think it definitely is also a bit of a, you know, fool me once,
Yeah.
shame on you, fool me twice, you know.
I'm only just recovering. Sorry.
Yeah, that was such a shock.
Probably the most entertaining start I think I've seen to a duel in the Australian region so far. Given that, there's the frag finally to finish and seal the deal in round 2. 2-0
We
up.
saw the dire orb actually get thrown out that time. I would be interested to see. I don't actually have Twitch chat up. If anyone in chat has any theories about what that dire orb might have been.
Oh, Zeniku's clipped it, so I'm sure we can check it out later.
Round 3.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like the 10 seconds leading up to it. Like, I want to see when that orb got fired. Very weird start to the round there. We get a bit of defrag happening.
Almost.
Yeah, just what an action-packed start here with this Anarchy on Anarchy, who are very nearly a gauntlet frag.
Yeah, you can tell when a player really doesn't want to fight when their LG is just wonky. Everywhere and nowhere, but here comes the heavy, the push in with the Anarchy. They're going to shut him down.
Great timing there. He knew exactly how that was going to play out in his mind.
It's the benefit of round and round.
Nice try, but no dice.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah, I
accepted
guess Noah
fate.
was hoping to use that as an exit mobility thing. Oh wow, that was close actually. But that's going to be it.
Final score,
Wow,
3-0.
So I'm not convinced on that Scale Bearer pick still, I think. If you can use the mobility as like an exit thing, I guess there are lots of corners you can duck around on that map. But yeah, the Sorlag is still just so good here. It's very hard to go toe-to-toe.
Good go, well played. He'll be moving through. I'm going to try and bring up the brackets and have a look at who his next opponent's potentially going to be. Python. You know what? I reckon we might end up streaming that. Meanwhile, Steve just beating Dirtbox 2-0. It's Steve versus